Okay. Okay. I'm back now. I'm gonna wait till somebody come in and tell me they can hear me. I need somebody to tell me if they can hear me before I start recording. Please tell me if you can hear me. Cause I don't want to keep talking and nobody can hear me. Please tell me if you can hear me. Tell me if you can hear me, please. Um, okay, good. Thank you for letting me know because I did not want to start talking again and nobody could hear me. Okay, so what I was saying is I wanted to come on and do a quick live so I can update y'all on what I found out about Miss Naziah Harris. And I wanted to start off with this article that I just found. This article was written or published on the 3rd of this month, so February 3rd. I just found it though. So I wanted to update y'all and let y'all know about how this article is saying that CPS was warned about this man 5 different times since 2015 about supposed molestation claims in regards to this baby. And I'm trying to figure out what in the world CPS did because they're not being forthcoming with information. And that's the thing that I don't like about CPS. Okay, they need to understand that they really do work for the public. They're trying to be so private about the things that they say to people, but I'm just like, you can tell people that you will do an investigation, but they will not tell you what they did or how they followed up or none of that. They won't tell you any of that. They're very vague on the details. And on top of that, people who try to talk to the reporters and things like that, their jobs get put on the line because they're being told that if they speak to the press, they will lose their jobs. They can lose their jobs. It's ridiculous. So it says that years before Jarvis Butt would be charged by Wayne County's prosecutor accused of killing and sexually abusing Naziah Harris. Relatives of the 13-year-old say they filed multiple reports with Children's Protective Services raising concerns about butts. We're talking about 2015. We're in 2025. This was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And if I'm not mistaken, this might have been around the time that the aunt says, or the aunt and the grandmother moved or something. So he was messing with the aunt at this time. It says a 7 News Detroit investigation finds that Butts was named in at least 5 CPS complaints since 2015, including one that alleged Butts had inappropriately touched Naziah Harris in 2022. So we know that Naziah was with her grandmother at this time, which would mean that she was also around her aunt at this time, which would mean that Butts had children with this aunt. So you mean to tell me that they had a known sex offender in and around this, in the house and around this child during this time? Because how else would Naziah be getting inappropriately touched by him? Because the grandmother said that when Butts would come, he would sit outside in the car. And Shannon would go outside with the kids. And Naziah would go outside if Shannon was out there. So are you trying to say that it was happening when he came out there? No, no. He had other access to her in different places if she was being touched. So it says, while multiple complaints alleged improper touching or raised concerns about possible molestation, none substantiated sexual abuse. What? So hold on. You mean to tell me that CPS was investigating alleged abuse by a known sex offender, whether or not you had substantiated sexual abuse? The allegations of improper touching and possible molestation should have been enough because he was a known sex offender. Why wasn't something put in place so that this man no longer had access to children? I'm not understanding this. I'm not understanding this. He had already been accused and convicted of sex offense against minors. You mean to tell me that his name comes up in a CPS investigation multiple times for possible molestation and improper touching? We're talking about 5 different times here with the same man who's already in the system for crimes against children, where he has to register as a sex offender. What is wrong with this situation? Are you trying to tell me that unless they had substantial proof that sexual abuse went on, they could not do anything about this man being around these children? I have questions about CPS and the investigations that they did about this, because this is not making sense. This could have been completely, hey, Miss Nora, this could be completely, or this situation with Miss Naziah could have been completely avoided if something was done all these years later. Because like I said, we're talking 10 years before now that these allegations were made. I don't give a damn how many allegations were made. We're talking about possible molestation and improper touching of a minor by a convicted sex offender. What else does CPS need in order for them to put up safeguards to protect these children? They knew he had kids with this woman, Shannon. You mean to tell me there are not policies and guidelines about sex offenders being around minors? This is not making sense. So a child can't come to you. Why does a child have to keep coming to you though? These instances happen at different times. So children have to keep telling you they were touched by this man. This man improperly touched them. It wasn't appropriate. I wasn't comfortable around this man. They have to keep telling you that for you to believe that something is not right. And we're talking about a sex offender. I'm not understanding this. I'm not understanding this situation. It says Kawana Morton and her cousin Jernell, who asked that her last name not be used, are both relatives of Naziah. In February of 2022, Jernell said she learned of allegations of improper touching involving Butts and other children. This is other children, so this is besides Naziah. So hold on, CPS. You mean to tell me that not only was Naziah reporting this to her family, but other children was doing the same thing on the same man? This is the same man each time. And they did nothing. I'm not understanding this. I'm not understanding this at all. She said she was told about the claims while talking to her niece, Butts' girlfriend. Butts' girlfriend. So this would be Shannon. And that the alleged victims were Naziah and 2 other children. So Butts' girlfriend I absolutely believe that, because brainwashing is actually a thing. People making their kids believe something other than their damn reality and expecting them to continue to live by that. Like I said, people understanding their truth, but nothing coming about when they tell it. Or some of them being afraid to tell the truth, or some of them not even speaking about it because they're so brainwashed. She says she took the claim seriously, in part because Butts was on the sex offender registry. Exactly. If I was a family member and a child came and told me that somebody was inappropriately touching them, I would have questions for this person. Of course, they're gonna lie about it. But if I find out that they're a registered sex offender, I'm definitely going to be watching this person and reporting this person to somebody. If it's CPS I need to report to, I'm letting them know. If it's something I can do where I get the police involved, I'm going to do it. Even if it's me just getting a report. Because that black and white is going to speak, especially in a situation like this where now the baby is missing. And not only is she missing, but it's been confirmed that she was pregnant or possibly pregnant. I'm not sure if she went to the doctor. I think I read or I heard that she had to go to the doctor. Because this was like a month before she went missing. Because the text messages in December shows that she and Butts were talking about this through text message, where he's asking her questions about abortion, Plan B, and things like that. It says Butts spent more than 8 years in prison for third-degree criminal sexual conduct. And this is against a minor. So let me tell you something about a criminal, especially a sex offender. If they go to prison because of their sex offense and then they're released, a lot of times they escalate their crime so that they don't go back. So if they got back because the first time they allowed the victim to live, the next time they're going to make sure that doesn't happen. Especially if he was trying to prevent himself going back to jail. He had to get rid of evidence. There would have been no way he could have avoided facing time if this baby went to the doctor, they found out she was pregnant, because then you had to find out who the father was. And he knew that would have been the end of him. Yeah, Miss Nora, I'm not sure, like, did she actually go to the doctor or not? He gonna ask the question, you said you took a pregnancy test. And she responded that she did. Because he said, you said you took a pregnancy test and it was negative. And the baby said she did. But you know how pregnancy works. Sometimes you could get a false negative if you take it too soon. So that could have been absolutely what happened. If she took it too soon. Okay, so it says, I was like, oh my God, I was not crazy, Janelle said. This needs to be looked into. She held off on alerting authorities. She said her niece said she would report the claims to police. I believe that the niece is Shannon Harris. Don't quote me, but I believe that that's the niece, Shannon Harris. So the niece was asking her to hold off because she was going to report the claims to the police, which I don't think she did. Of course she didn't. She didn't. Remember, she gave him a second chance, knowing he was a convicted sex offender. So she knew about the abuse and she did nothing. Again, I'm alleging that this is Shannon. I'm not sure because this doesn't say. So it says, but weeks later, Janelle says she alerted Child Protective Services. Her complaint came in on April 13th, 2022. It says there was an incident at a birthday party. One of the children that attended the party accused Jarvis of sexual abuse. Naziah and the other baby that they didn't mention reported that Jarvis touched both of them inappropriately. Jarvis touched the other baby in her private area and it hurt. What? Okay, I'm not understanding something. This is I mean, this really is this is throwing me off. Not only do you have Naziah saying this, but you have another family member saying this as well. Okay? That this man touched them inappropriately. And this happened over and over and over. And nobody was listening to them. Nobody was taking what they were saying serious. And the only reason I'm saying this is because during this time, Naziah was with her grandmother and Shannon. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So these people might think that this shit is fucking normal. Excuse my language. But they must think that this is normal. Like it's okay to be happening. I really do believe this because they didn't do anything. It's like they didn't think this was a big issue. I'm not understanding this. I'm not understanding this. Okay. It says Janelle made the complaint over the phone. They basically told me if they needed me for anything else, they would reach out. She said, adding that she was not contacted by CPS again. Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh my gosh. Like, somebody really needs to do an investigation on CPS. Somebody really needs to find out what is happening with these CPS cases, that things are being reported, and CPS is saying that they're investigating shit. And then the people who contact them never hear from them again. If anything, CPS will move the children. But I also found out that CPS perpetrates their own situation as it pertains to the government support that they get. So think about this. The children are in CPS for family issues. Whatever family issues, that's why the children are in CPS. So in order to keep the children in foster care, there always has to be a family issue. I just want y'all to think about that. With no family issues, there's no need for CPS. In order for CPS to keep getting money, keep getting funded, family issues are necessary. That's what I'm going to say. And this is in my opinion. What happens when a child gets into a foster home where they're taken care of the right way? I found out that CPS says they lose money. They lose money if a child is in a good home. Why? Because there's no family issue. There's no need to move the child. There's no need to investigate anything. But if I put the child in a situation where that's likely to happen, for instance, in a poverty neighborhood where low income people are, where there's a potential for violence to happen, where sex offenders are more likely to gather and be at, there's risk involved. That's what I'm saying. Risk is involved. Y'all, something ain't right with CPS. I'm telling y'all, they need to be investigated, because I don't understand how this happened, that all these allegations were brought up prior to now about this same person with multiple children, and CPS didn't find anything that would warrant them doing anything more. No. And then you don't follow up. CPS don't follow up with the people who made the allegations. Why is that? Okay. The next day, Jernell would receive a text from her niece, Butt's girlfriend, confirming that she's been contacted by CPS. CPS called me, the text read, called about the well-being of my kids. Then they called back to get Jarvis's info. So again, in my opinion, I believe that Butt's girlfriend in this article would have been Shannon Harris. That's what I believe. This is my opinion. They called about the well-being of my kids. We know she has 5 kids by him. And then they called back to get Jarvis's info. So did she give it to them? I mean, so let me ask this question. Does it make sense that CPS got these allegations about this man, and he's a registered sex offender, and they knew he was around children? Why didn't this raise a red flag? Don't y'all think this should have raised a red flag with CPS? This is not making sense. They allowed this man to continue to be around these children, and they knew he was a sex offender. How are we not? We should be eyeballing CPS to death. Like, what the hell? What the hell happened here? Why was this okay? A CPS spokeswoman wouldn't tell 7 News Detroit if investigators ever questioned Naziah Harris. But the allegations that she was touched, or whether they notified police, citing state and federal law. So that's what I'm saying. A CPS person spoke to the news and wouldn't say if the investigators ever questioned Naziah Harris. Why? We don't need to know what she said. We just need to know that you spoke to her. You can't tell us whether or not you spoke to her. I don't understand this. Citing what state and federal law? All you doing is saying yes or no. You investigated or you questioned her. You can't tell us yes or no. Yeah, some might do work in the system. But let me ask you this, Miss Nora. If you worked in the system, I ain't gonna ask you that question. I'm not gonna ask you that question because it might seem like I'm trying to, put stuff in people's heads. But all I'm gonna say, if it was me, okay, that's what I'm gonna say. If it was me, but it wasn't the only CPS complaint naming Jarvis Butt. Kawana Morton said she heard about the same allegations against Butts from a conversation with his girlfriend. Y'all know who Kawana Morton is? I think this the aunt. This is a family member. This is another family member. Okay. Says she heard about the same allegations against Butts from a conversation with his girlfriend. 2 months after her cousin's call to CPS, she filed her own complaint. So now you got two family members who done filed CPS complaints alleging this. And I want y'all to keep in mind that this baby was under the care of a family member, within the home of family members. And you got other family members doing the CPS complaints. How can you not rule out possible accomplice behavior? Like, how can you not rule this out? Because at this point, I'm presuming that Shannon Harris knew all about the allegations. Not to mention that she had kids with this man multiple times and knew he was a registered sex offender. And don't worry, because I got the video. I found the video where they're saying this man abused his own child. Okay, Ms. Martin said, I told them that there's a problem and they need to be aware of it. I'm 90% sure. Okay, hold on. Before I go any further, these family members, it seems like these family members were not talking to this grandmother. Why is that? Because I'm not seeing anything in here about these family members that made CPS report saying anything to the grandmother. The person who was charged with the responsibility and care of this baby. So nobody's talking to the grandmother and letting her know anything. Yet we know that Shannon calls the grandmother and tells the grandmother what this baby's doing. So she not telling the grandmother what these allegations are. Y'all, I got so many damn questions because this is not making sense. There's some distance here or some tension here between family members. And if they're calling CPS, the grandmother could very well be affected by this. This could also cause tension because it would essentially mean that her money can be messed up. The interest that she has in the foster care system could be jeopardized. And if she has a daycare, that too can be jeopardized. So you're going to choose to ignore these allegations by your own family members. Something's not right. Okay, so Ms. Martin says, I told them that there's a problem and they need to be aware of it. I'm 90% sure that there's sexual abuse going on within the home. It says, did you specifically mention Jarvis by name? That's what the reporter asked. And she said, absolutely. She mentioned him by name. Internal CPS records obtained by the news show that investigators looked into a complaint in June of 2022. So they didn't look into the complaint from April? Conducting a face-to-face interview with Butts, who strongly denied the allegations. Of course he gonna deny the allegations. He's a sex offender. Why would he tell you the fucking truth? Are you kidding me? But at this point, does he need to tell you the fucking truth? You knew he was a sex offender. Was he supposed to be around minors? What? I want to know, what were the stipulations behind this? Was he not on, I don't know if he was on parole, but either way, he's a sex offender. I want to know what were the guidelines for him? Was he supposed to stay away from children? Was he supposed to have what's it called? Monitored visitation with the children? Do we know this? Like what were the stipulations behind him being around his children? How was he able to be around children? And he's in the system as a sex offender. I don't understand this. And CPS doesn't find anything wrong with this. We're talking about law enforcement here. I just have questions because this is not making sense. So what, he lied. We knew he was going to lie. You should have known he was going to lie if you asked him these questions. I'm confused, okay? A forensic interview was conducted with the alleged victim, and no disclosures were made. That could have been for a variety of reasons. We're talking about children here, especially if they were made to fear telling the truth. CPS said the home was clean and free of observed safety concerns. Okay. The allegation was denied and assigned a low risk level. What? I'm confused. I'm confused. Carla, okay? I'm confused. What? The allegation was denied and assigned a low risk level. Why? Because the home was clean? What does that have to do with a known sex offender continuing to have access to minors that have accused him of sexual abuse, molestation, inappropriate touching? These are all things that sex offenders do. And they're going to tell you the truth. So he's going to tell you, yeah, I did that. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, something's not right. And I really feel like CPS needs to be further investigated. I am telling you, they've already been hemmed up in the trafficking. They are part of the trafficking. They're trafficking foster kids, and not just illegal immigrants. They're just some of the kids. We're also talking about American children as well that are being moved from home to home to home. Oh gosh, okay. How are sex offenders able to live under a roof with foster parents? What? Oh yeah, I'm getting to that, Carla. I'm getting to that. This nasty. Okay. It's one of at least 5 complaints filed with CPS naming Jarvis Butt since 2015, according to the records obtained by News Detroit. The complaints allege concerns about possible molestation, physical abuse, or living conditions. Many of the complaints were generic, and none substantiated that Butts was inappropriately touching children. Oh. I'm not understanding the common sense or the discernment around this. I'm sorry. I am having trouble with understanding this shit. Because what I am gathering is that CPS chose to do absolutely nothing. And they were dealing with a known convicted sex offender, and they did nothing. Just over a year after the last complaint on record, Jarvis Butt would be charged with sexually assaulting, and I ain't gonna say the word, okay? Oh, just over a year after the last complaint on record. Now, mind you, they have given signs time after time after time after time. Where the children have been telling them, the family members have been trying to get CPS to do their job, to get law enforcement to do their job. But I don't even understand why it was this hard, why it took this long, and we're dealing with a known sex offender. This wasn't somebody who was just part of the family or just came about and they didn't have a record. This man had a record and was in the system for sex offense against minors. And you mean to tell me that it took for this baby to possibly, and I'm saying this even though I have the feeling that I know what happened. I'm saying this like this for a reason. So this man could have possibly unalived this baby, all because the previous allegations were not substantial enough. And nothing's going to happen to CPS, right? So nothing's going to happen to CPS behind this. Nothing's going to happen to CPS behind this. Are you kidding me? They had ample opportunity to step in and prevent this man from being around these children, especially since he was a sex offender, and they did nothing because they're saying there was no substantial evidence. What the hell do you mean? There was no recording? There was no video of it? In a statement, the Department of Health and Human Services said, "Our hearts go out to the family and friends of Naziah Harris. While we can't discuss specific cases due to state and federal laws, MDHHS is deeply committed to ensuring the health and safety." This is what I call a blanket statement. Okay, this don't mean ish to me. This sounds like something that they throw out there because it sounds like they care. It sounds like they're invested in their jobs. No, absolutely not. Not when one of the children that the CPS complaints was made about has not been found. And there are text messages between her and this convicted sex offender that was highly inappropriate. And one of the mothers of his children was this baby's aunt, and she knew about the inappropriate text messages. Oh yeah, the brother. This was the brother of the. Was this the brother of the grandmother? I'm y'all. I want to know what's going to happen with CPS behind this shit. I really do want to know. I want to know what the investigation into CPS is going to look like behind this, because they did nothing and they were warned multiple times. What kind of fucking substantial evidence were you looking for? And y'all are not being forthcoming with if you even talk to this baby. Y'all not telling anybody anything. Why? Because they juveniles. What? And this baby is missing? And y'all not going to tell us if y'all even talk to her. I wonder why. They're protecting something. There's some kind of reason. There's some kind of interest they're not telling us about. I'm sick of that, Miss Quinn. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people actually getting involved and trying to make a difference and speaking out on these people and nothing's being done. And I want to know why the hell that is. Why is that? Who the hell do you have working for CPS? What is the interest involved with too many complaints? And y'all not giving answers about it. Y'all not following up with the people making the complaints. Because how are you going to explain this baby being pregnant? You can't. Especially after you knew about allegations of molestation on this man. You gonna tell me CPS didn't know Jarvis Butt was a sex offender? That's a damn lie. I'm telling you that's a lie. I'm telling you they knew. Especially if they called his girlfriend and got his information. Oh, they knew. Because all his information is in the system. That's all it takes for you to go to prison. All your information in the system, and it stays there. How did this happen? Oh, okay, let me go ahead, y'all, because y'all know how I get out. Okay, I gotta share this other thing with you before I get to Shannon ass. Okay, hold on. I gotta share my screen. Is it this one? It's this one. All right, make sure I can see y'all. Okay. Hey, Miss Denise. Listen to this.
Jarvis Butt in court.
Hold on. I want y'all to be able to hear it. What's
court Friday afternoon? He's the man charged in connection with the homicide of Naziah. He also
sexually. Y'all, what's going on? I want y'all to hear this. I want y'all to be able to hear this. No charge.
Sexually molested his.
Why y'all don't hear this?
Own daughter.
Y'all tell me if y'all can hear this, okay?
Jarvis Butt in court Friday afternoon. He's the man charged in connection with the homicide of Neziah Harris.
Y'all hear this?
The 13-year-old girl disappeared on January 19th. In addition to allegedly sexually assaulting Harris and impregnating her, investigators say he also sexually molested his own daughter. The alleged molestation began when she was under the age of 10. They further allege he sexually assaulted another girl who was under the age of 5 at the time.
She was 4 years old at the time, and she was the
excuse me. Did y'all hear that? That he had already been accused of allegations against a 4-year-old.
She was under the age of 10. They further allege he sexually assaulted another girl who was under the age of 5 at the time.
She was 4 years old at the time, and she was the daughter of one of Mr. Butt's girlfriends at the time, and I would believe her to have contracted chlamydia.
It's disgusting.
So nobody asked the question. Nobody asked the question. How did this baby get an STD? And I'm talking about at the time. How did this baby get an STD? At this age. We're talking about under the age of 10. Them babies don't know what's going on. Nobody asked the question, how did this happen? Who did this? This was the baby of his girlfriend. How was he still out after that? How? How was he out? How was he still out after that? I'm confused. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, like, what was going through the girlfriend's mind after this? Because she continued to deal with him. This man gave your baby an STD and you continue to deal with him? Oh, Miss Denise, okay. How did this happen? You knew this man was molesting your children. I don't care what she says. I don't care what she says. Because at this point, she's a liar. Just like her mother. You knew and you did nothing. Oh, yes, they do. Birds of a feather definitely flock together. But I'm telling you, I'm sick of CPS being involved in this type of shit. And everything that they did is questionable. And they refuse to talk to the public. And if they do, like the whistleblowers who went to Congress, they lose their job. They got a fear of losing their job because they're talking to the public. Why is this? I am telling you, there's an investment in interest that we don't know about. And I want y'all to think about this because, like I said, CPS is directly involved in the trafficking of children. They're being paid more than just government money. And that's what I'm telling you. It's not just us paying them. Lord, y'all, I'm telling you.
It's despicable. It's worse than what I thought it was. I've been trying to bring attention to him since 2022, and I did not realize it was this bad.
Bond was remanded for 41-year-old Butts. He's currently incarcerated on an unrelated weapons charge. The sexual assault charges involving minors date back to 2012. Investigators say he started molesting Naziah Harris in 2022.
Are y'all hearing this? Are y'all hearing this? The allegations go back to 2012 on this man. I'm sorry if I'm yelling. I'm so sorry if I'm yelling. But I'm so mad right now that this baby lost her life. She lost her life because we did nothing. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm so mad that she got life. I'm so fucking mad. I'm so mad that this happened. Are you kidding me? 2012? I'm telling you. I'm telling you, like, oh goodness, I'm telling you. Like, something needs to happen. Something needs to happen with CPS now. Now. Because I'm sick of having to see these damn cases. It's so many cases coming out about these children who are being molested and not being listened to. And it's taking for them to lose their life. (2012), y'all. Allegations against this man since 2012. And since then, CPS has been involved at least 5 times. At least 5 times. That's the least. And each time the evidence was unsubstantiated. And we talking about a known convicted sex offender who was allowed to have access around his kids and with his kids unaccompanied. I feel like the parents need to start going to jail. I feel like the parents need to start going to jail. Including foster parents. They need to start going to jail too. Because this was definitely endangerment and neglect, in my opinion. And as far as I'm concerned, I feel like Shannon Harris could be looked at as an accomplice because she knew it. She knew. And she didn't do anything. She lied to her family members and said she was going to call the police. The family members had to follow up and call CPS. She didn't call the police. Oh my God, y'all.
Unbelievable. I just want this case to move forward. Naziah receives the justice that she deserves. And any other victims who have been victimized by this maniac.
Authorities believe there are likely more children who were victimized by Butts. Meanwhile, Harris's body was never found.
I would encourage any other victims who have been victimized by this man, please speak up. Don't be afraid. Now is your time.
In Detroit, Camila Neri, Fox 2 News.
But why, y'all? What is the reason? Because it seemed like these sex offenders have been, it's like they've been treated with some kind of special, some kind of special needs or something. I don't understand. If you look back in cases, how many cases have you seen where sex offenders, they get less sentences than anybody else? 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, 18 months, they back out on the street. Y'all don't think something is wrong with this? These are crimes against children. Children cannot consent. They cannot. So how is it that a child under 10-year-old has an STD and we do nothing about it? The mother or the parents, whether they're foster parents, biological parents, whoever, nothing happens with them. We don't find out what was the situation. How did this happen? Why was this person given access to this child? Where were you? Because they stay ignorance. Every time the situation is happening where they're nowhere in the picture. Give me a minute, child, so I can get to this other one I want to show you. Hold on. It doesn't even make any sense, Miss Denise. How the hell are you letting a sex offender go without supervision or monitoring? They need constant monitoring. And another thing, I have a question about where they choose to put these people. Because it seems like a lot of these sex offenders end up in impoverished neighborhoods, consistently ended up around children some kind of way. Don't you know they have these pedophiles and shit getting jobs at schools? Where who at? Children. I don't care if it's the landscaper, person picking up trash in the neighborhood. I don't care. They're from all different backgrounds. But there is a commonality between all of them. They have a sexual attraction to minors. That does not go away when you release them back into society. That don't go away. They get better at what they're doing. And how the hell can a woman who calls herself a mother allow these type of people around their children? Yeah, they should post their picture everywhere. Post it on milk cartons. You know, that's what they did to all the missing children. That's what they did. They put all the missing children when I was coming up were on milk cartons. Some of them were in newspaper articles. Did we ever find those kids? A lot of them were foster children. Oh, goodness. Something's wrong with this, y'all. And I'm telling you, the government is involved. They know something they're not telling us. That's why they're so secretive about this shit. And we really do need to be demanding answers because we're paying their salary. And that's facts. So I don't understand how you think you get to just keep shit from us. And we're having to deal with multiple cases of children going missing, becoming unalived behind these nasty ass sex offenders, pedophiles. And that's what I'm saying. Like, how are you vetting these people? And this includes the people who work for CPS. How are you vetting these? How are these people being vetted? How are you following up? Or because CPS has a boss. How are they providing an overview of what CPS is doing? I'm trying to tell y'all, okay? Because like I said, I do believe Allie Carter, and so much of what she says resonates with what we're seeing. Are y'all paying attention to the news and all the stuff that's coming out about these elites? It's not just P. Diddy. It's not just Jay-Z. It's not just Beyonce Knowles. It's not just Danielle Washington. It's not just Birdman. It's not just Ellen DeGeneres. It's Oprah Winfrey. It's not just Barack Obama. It's not just Michelle Obama. It's not just them. Where are the Epstein files? Is anybody asking about that? Where are the Epstein files? Do you know how many people are on that list? Because I've already seen it. Do you know how many people are on that list? I can't even tell you how many people on that. I'm trying to tell y'all. Okay? It's deeper than y'all know. And the stuff that y'all gonna find out, it's gonna hit you so hard. Why is nobody investigating the tunnels? Nobody's gonna pay attention to the. They're telling you it's in the states, it's in these countries. It's not just the United States. They're finding children in trucks. What's the name? These 18-wheeler trucks, they're finding children inside of them. Where did they come from? Where were they being trafficked to? I just saw a video of a whole bunch of immigrant children coming into the United States. They couldn't even speak to the people, asking questions about where they were going. Who were their sponsors? The people they were with would not allow them to speak to the reporters. They had to keep their mask on and keep walking. They would refuse to answer questions. Why, and I ask this question again, why is it that children in the foster homes are being sent overseas? Do you as taxpayers know that this is happening with these babies that we taking care of? Do you know that? You want to know why you don't know a whole lot about that? Because the big news stations are not telling you this. They're not telling you this. You have to go outside of them to the independent sources like I do. Because they got a whole lot of evidence out there. I've been trying to put it out. I got something today I got to put out. And nobody's asking questions. And I'm telling you, CPS is involved. And we're not demanding answers. Everything you're hearing is not a conspiracy theory. And when I say this is government, local government, state government, federal government. All of them. And we're not asking questions. And this is the type of stuff that's happening in the meantime. Because we ain't even got to the kids that's still on the ground right now. And this don't make you mad. This don't make you want to do nothing. But sit back. I'm so tired. But let me get into this video.
13-year-old Neziah Harris disappeared after getting off her school bus in Detroit. And 1 year to the day of that disappearance, her accused killer could find out if he'll trial in her death. Jarvis Butt is charged with murder and sexually assaulting the missing teen. Prosecutors have been laying out their evidence in court to prove they have enough to take this case to trial. 7 News Detroit reporter Ryan Marshall joins us live from 36th District Court, where one final witness will continue on the stand this morning. And Ryan, this has been an emotional 3 days of testimony, and we know that this hearing could wrap up as early as today.
Yeah, very emotional, up and down like a roller coaster. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody out there. We've heard from 24 different people that have testified in this case. We've heard from family members. We've heard from subject matter experts. We've heard from local law enforcement. But we may be hearing from the courts soon about whether or not they are going to take this case to a full trial.
Well, we already know at this point it's going to trial, and thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness it's going to trial. Oh, my gosh.
Wednesday was day 3 of testimony in the Jarvis Butt's preliminary hearing regarding the disappearance of 13-year-old teen Neziah Harris. Much of yesterday's testimony involved law enforcement officials and various experts. That included Wayne County's interim deputy chief medical examiner, Omar Reyes. He says he reviewed Neziah Harris's medical records.
Did you see anything in there that would have caused Neziah to die naturally?
No.
However, when the defense cross-examined him,
is it your job to declare somebody as deceased? Typically?
Typically, I am the pronouncing doctor when we respond to a death on a scene.
Okay, so if you were to go and view something yourself and have personal knowledge of the circumstances surrounding the incident.
Correct.
Detroit Police Sergeant Shannon Jones also testified. She explained that when she inherited the case, there were immediate red flags.
Number one, she's never been missing before. There's been no updates on any of her social media, which is very uncommon for a young child or juvenile. They're addicted to those. There had been a last known contact that she had possibly met somebody, is what we were informed, that there was a text message.
Jones also discussed items found during the River Rouge area search, like the shoe, later determined to be a match to those belonging to Harris. The sergeant says investigators executed at least 20 search warrants, including electronic devices belonging to Butts. They testified that they discovered questionable Google searches from December 2023, a month before Harris disappeared. The searches surround the belief that Butts wanted to find ways to conceal getting Neziah pregnant.
What's visited, it's Drink Me and Abort Your Baby, the herbal abortion tea by Maya. And the site visited is plannedparenthood.org/learn/abortion/the abortion pill.
Whew. Back here live now at the 36th District Court, and undoubtedly family and loved ones are having a hard time listening to that testimony inside the courtroom. We'll find out if the courts do take this to a full trial. If they do, the family is going to have to hear a lot more tough testimony in order to get justice for Neziah.
Yeah, like where is she? We still don't have her body. We still don't know where she is. And this, you couldn't put me in a room with him. I'm sorry. As an investigator, I just can't investigate such crimes because it might be a conflict of interest for me, because I'll mess around and lose my job. I would mess around and lose my job. Y'all ever seen the movies where the cops are so passionate about their job that they're hemming people up, knocking them all over the place because they won't answer questions? You wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be able to, I'm telling you, I could not do it. You understand me? I couldn't. Okay? Because there's no way. There's no damn way. Like, y'all, Okay, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this done because I just want y'all to just listen to this woman. I know y'all probably already heard this one, but I really just need y'all to listen to this woman because, like I said, I absolutely believe that this lady is lying, just like her mother. There's no doubt that she's lying, just like her mother. It's too much that has come out, and at this point, I don't think anybody can say that Shannon Harris had no idea what was happening with these children. She absolutely knew. And I don't care how much the grandmother is trying to distance herself from this situation. She knew things as well. And I don't think she should be a foster mother anymore. If she still is, she shouldn't be. I don't know where that petition is, but if you can send it to me, I'll sign it. Give me the information because I would definitely sign it. We need to do a petition to investigate CPS's ass. We need to be out there in front of CPS. What are y'all doing? Where are the children? Where are the children? How come people are asking questions about the children and they're refusing to answer the questions? Their jobs are being put on the line if they say anything. What kind of people you got working for CPS if it's okay with them to withhold this type of information and be okay with it as a human being? Your material matters more. What if it was your child? Now you in this situation. What if it was your child? Y'all, this makes me mad. I can understand if y'all have seen this before. I just ask y'all to just stick with me because this lady, Shannon Harris, she absolutely needs to undergo some kind of something because her choices were all neglectful to me. She endangered multiple children by allowing this man to be around her. Not to mention that she continued to have babies with this man when she claimed they had an on and off relationship, and she knew he was dealing with other women, and she knew that he had kids with other women, and she knew that he had already molested other children. Come, I can't.
Judge, first I would like to move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibits 15 and 16 pursuant to MRE 8036. They are certified records of text-style messages. Exhibit 15.
Y'all ever heard of this text now? I think it's called. What is text now? It's like an app or something. You just use that because apparently you use that if you can use that if you have Wi-Fi. You don't necessarily need the network to text us. So this is just a regular text app because I never heard of text now until this case. Very interesting. Never heard of it. Me either, Ms. Denise. I didn't even know what that is, but I'm glad I know now. I'm glad other people know as well, especially if you're parents. If you have children, monitor them. Monitor their apps. Period. Regardless of what they say. Because children know how to backdoor into things. Okay? They are so smart these days. They know how to backdoor into things, including their school tablets.
15 is messages from September 24th, 2022 through November 7th of 2022. And Exhibit 16 is messages from March 4th, 2023 through January 9th of 2024.
Any objection?
No objection
Hold on,
for
'cause
exam
they're
purposes,
getting ready to
pending
bring,
analysis under
this
403.
is, they're bringing the,
Back on January, or in January 2024, where did you live?
With my mom.
Why is filing your taxes
yeah.
with Free Tax USA different? Well, for starters, our premium
Resides with my mother,
With your mother? Okay, who's your mom?
Annette Harris,
And without telling me the exact address, what street did you live on?
Bedford.
Okay, Ms. Denise.
And do you have any children?
Yes,
How many kids do you have?
5.
And do all your kids have the same dad?
Yes,
Who's their dad?
Jarvis Butt.
And do you see Jarvis Butt in the courtroom today?
Yes,
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
green. Well, whatever. Green.
Green. Your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case?
So reflected.
Thank you, Judge. And you said your mom's name is Annette. Do you have any sisters?
Yes, 2.
What are their names?
Kenyatta Harris and Marquita Harris.
Are they older, younger, something else?
Oh, there. Marquita is a twin. She's my twin, same age.
And Kenyatta's older?
Yes,
Do you have any nieces or nephews?
yes,
Do you know someone named Neziah Harris?
yes.
What's your relationship to her?
My relationship to her, she is my niece. I'm her aunt.
Okay. And who?
Did anybody notice that neither Annette Harris nor Shannon Harris shed a tear for this baby the whole time they were on the stand? Did anybody else not notice that? But when Jarvis Butt's sister got on the stand, she was crying. So nothing's wrong with that? Y'all don't think anything's wrong with that? Yes, I know that, everybody doesn't handle emotional situations in the same way, but that should be the reason why you pay even more attention to certain people. That's in my opinion. Because neither one of them was crying. And that's awkward to me.
Whose daughter is she?
My older sister is Kenyatta Harris.
And did you have any nicknames for Neziah?
Yes, we all call her Tudda.
And is that Tudda?
Yes,
And did Neziah ever know Jarvis through you?
yes.
And when did Neziah and Jarvis first meet?
When she was little, like age 2.
And can you kind of describe the relationship between Neziah and Jarvis?
Should be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that.
How often?
Should just be an uncle and a niece relationship, no more than that. Yet you knew it was more than that. And you still allowed this man around your baby.
How often would Jarvis be around, like at your house with you?
He will call or say, can he come and see the kids? Or the kids will ask, can he see their dad? And he will come, pull up either to my house where I used to live or at my mother's house.
Would Neziah ever be around?
All the kids would be around.
To your knowledge, would Neziah ever text Jarvis?
From my knowledge, no, unless I will have her to text.
But to your knowledge, you didn't know of any kind of separate outside relationship.
No.
Would there ever be times where, where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Pardon?
Where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Where did I know him to work at?
Yes.
He worked at 2 different locations. The first location would be on East Warren, and the other location would be on Gratiot and Connor.
And what were those locations?
Those are the auto repair shop.
Would you ever know Desire to help Jarvis Butts at his shop?
Yes, he will call me and say, hey, if I can get our daughter and Messiah.
You see this? You see this? You knew this man was a convicted sex offender. Even at this point, when she was allowing her daughters to go to his shop without her supervision. So okay, nobody's questioning her discernment. She knew he was an offender and was allowing the babies to go. Even her own daughter was allowing them to go and be around this man unsupervised. And this was okay with her. And I'm going to assume that the mother had nothing to say. The grandmother of this baby had nothing to say about her going to the shop, the baby going to the shop with her cousin to be around a known sex offender unsupervised. Neither one of these 2 women, both adults, both had kids, neither one of them I can't, Miss Denise. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Come and work up at the shop. And I would say, let me ask my mom first regarding Messiah.
And which daughter of yours would that be?
That would be my oldest, Janiyah.
Okay. Would you ever know Messiah to go to Jarvis's shop alone?
No.
Whose birthday is on or around September 26th?
That's my oldest, my 4th oldest birthday.
Okay. Do you recall a birthday party on September 26th of 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And was Jarvis there?
No.
Okay. And that would have been his son's birthday party?
Yes.
Were there ever times that you would text Jarvis off of a text now number?
The only time I would text Jarvis off a text now number is if my phone is off. Other than that, no.
And do you recall the numbers that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And does a 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
Yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that number that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And what about a 586-842-4504?
That was the number before this number.
Before the 510 number?
Correct.
Okay. And is that a number you would also text Jarvis from?
Correct.
And what number did you have for Jarvis Butts?
The 313-585-8719.
And did you have any numbers for Messiah?
It was a funny looking area code. The area code was a 231.
Okay.
Do you really want to spend the rest of your life watching ads? Guys, just download Pi. It's a free Google Chrome extension and it basically blocks.
I want to show you some messages from People's Exhibit 16.
I also meant to play y'all. I meant to play y'all the messages that did y'all hear the messages that the investigator read in court? Where, you know, Naziah was speaking to Mr. Butts about her missing her period and things. Oh yeah, she's definitely a part, and I think she should be held accountable just like that grandmother. I don't care for neither one of them women. Cause she seemed like she's aloof. Shannon seems like she's aloof. Like she.
I'm gonna direct you to messages
Something's
on
weird.
or about June 27th of 2023. Do you recall those messages? Did you send any of those messages to Jarvis Butts?
No.
Okay. And do you know, I believe there's a phone number here that's highlighted. Whose phone number do you know that to be?
Jarvis Butt.
Okay. And you don't recall ever sending any of those messages?
No.
Okay. And now I want to direct you to messages from June 28th of 2023. How about any of these? Did you send any of these to Jarvis Butts?
No.
What about any messages from July 2nd of 2023? Did you send any of those messages?
No.
So I want y'all to keep in mind that right now, this prosecutor is showing her messages from her phone. Okay? These are messages from her phone that she's saying she did not send. Does that mean she didn't know the messages were on her phone? All she's attesting to is having not been the one who seen them. Sent them. I just can't, y'all. I can't. Yeah, they cannot. We're supposed to. Oh, Miss Denise, I can't. How you not know what's on your phone? How you not asking questions? Who sent this? Who sent this?
What about messages from August 26th of 2023? Did you send any of those to Jarvis Butts?
I'm sorry, was the 26th?
August 26th.
No. These aren't my messages.
This was 2023, y'all. 2023.
Did Jarvis Butts ever tell you that Naziah texted him to meet up on January 9th, 2024?
No.
Did you tell Jarvis Butts about not being able to locate Naziah on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
And tell me, how did you tell him that?
I called him. He didn't answer. I sent him a message asking him, have he seen Tuda, any whereabouts? And I said no Tuda, and he responded back, oh wow.
I didn't hear what you said, the last part.
Last part, I had, I texted him. Well, at first I called him. He didn't answer. The second time, I sent him a message. Still no Tuda. He replied back, oh, wow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And
That part. Cameras.
you're gonna make a approach.
Yes.
And just for record references, I'm showing her what's gonna be proposed, People's Exhibit 48. Ms. Harris, those text messages that you just referenced, do you see those on this page?
Yes.
Okay. And so it's fair to say you stated to Mr. Butts, well, first of all, whose phone number is this at the top?
The phone number is my old telephone number.
Okay, and who is the phone number below that?
Jarvis Butt.
Okay. And is this, I guess, do these fairly and accurately represent these two messages? 3, 4, 5, 6 messages sent between you and Mr. Butts on January 9th, 2024 through January 11th, 2024.
The first page is, yes, it's correct. Second page, it's correct. Yes.
Okay. And so on January 9th, like you had indicated before, you had stated that you told her that there was still no Tuda.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he responded, oh, wow.
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was Nizaya still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
At this point, I just asked that if she's going to read from the text message, just omit the exhibit.
I can't.
Issue with moving to admit?
No, Judge.
Y'all, hold on, wait a minute. You mean to tell me all this woman did was text this man and never thought to go by his shop at all? I mean, to my understanding, Shannon did not say, she didn't say what he said after letting him know that Tuda was missing the first time. I don't think we heard if he responded. But when she texted him the next time and said, still no Tuda, he said, oh, wow. What did he say the first time? I didn't hear that. So if y'all heard it, let me know, because I didn't hear that.
Do these fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and his phone between, well, they start back earlier. Some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between
Yes.
you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48. Objection.
Okay, they'll be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share the missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send him a copy of that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And
You know what's strange? It's like the alarm bells never went off. I could tell by how she's reacting today in court. The alarm bells never went off that the baby was missing and she was dating a known sex offender. The alarm bells never went off. She knew that this baby was going to his shop. The alarm bells just never went off. So much so that she's asking him to share the flyer of the baby being missing on his Facebook page. Nothing is clicking. Nothing is clicking. Oh, yes, Miss Denise. I absolutely believe this was planned, especially on Mr. Butt's part. It's a lot of questionable mess that happened with this girl, Shannon Harris. And it's questionable mess that happened with her mother as well. Because this is awkward. That no alarm bells went off at all and she didn't do anything else but text. No.
Backtrack
No.
Just a little bit. On December 3rd, 2023, do you recall sending messages asking Mr. Butts if he needed Nizaya for anything?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay. So do you remember this text on the first page of People's Exhibit 48?
Yes, I do remember this message.
Okay. And did you send that message?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the message say?
Tada said, do you still need her too?
Okay. And do you know what is that referring to?
It was Tada had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward, on January 21st of 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages is to be honest,
Hold on, y'all.
these
Wait a
messages are
minute.
seen
Hold
into
on.
the
Let me go back
inbox
real
to-
quick because I didn't hear this date. It's something that just clicked with me, but I didn't hear this date. Hold on. I need to hear this date that the prosecutor said.
And do you know what is that referring to?
It was Tada had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward, on January 21st of 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages is to be honest, these messages are seen into the inbox to you. I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon. I mean it. The next message is I don't know what to say, or Tada is on. Since this shit doesn't sit right with me, call it what you want. I'm good, period. It says this for life. Nigga, I thought about it. And you can pass it.
Does that mean that 11 days, would this have been 12 days later, after the baby goes missing, something finally clicked? Is that what she's saying? That something finally clicked 12 days after the baby's missing? Because she's saying something about the messages don't sit right with her. What about all the other messages that she's saying she didn't send? from her phone. So those messages was sitting right by you. Him talking about he wants some unsy. He wasn't talking to you. And he told the investigators he was talking to you. No, he wasn't. That's awkward. Yeah, it was January 20th when she sent that about her going to the shop. Mm-hmm. Hold on, let's see, because I think it was January 20th. Okay, let me be sure, because I think it was January 20th.
Second page. It's correct.
Wait, she's
Oh,
verifying
wow.
it.
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was Nizaya still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
At this point, I just asked that if she's going to read from the text message, just admit the exhibit.
I can.
Issue with moving to admit?
No, Judge. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and his phone between, well, they start back earlier. Some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024. These
Did
fairly.
y'all hear them dates? From December 3rd of 2023 to January 11th, 2023. Because that's what those are the text messages she looking at. Excuse me, January of 2024. Mind you, December of 2023, we now know that Jarvis Butt was texting this baby and they were talking about her missed periods. Now, I don't know if this was from her phone, but I believe it was from the Text Now messages that she has on their Text Now app is on Shannon's phone. So again, I'm asking the question. Shannon didn't look at these messages at all. She didn't know these messages existed at all, and this was her device? Doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
And accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48. No objection.
Right, that'll be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share the missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send him a copy of that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And
Y'all, I'm telling y'all, something's off about this lady. Like, something's off about this lady.
to backtrack just a little bit, on December 3rd, 2023, do you recall sending messages asking Mr. Butts if he needed Nizaya for anything?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay. So do you remember this text on the first page of People's Exhibit 48?
Yes, I do remember this message.
Okay. And did you send that message?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the message say?
Tada said, do you still need her too?
Okay. And do you know what is that referring to?
It was, Tada had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward On January 21st, of 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages.
Because these messages that she's getting ready to read were from January 21st of 2024. So the baby had been missing for 12 days at this point. That's why I asked that question, like, did it just click with her? Because she's like, these messages don't sit right with me. But my question is, how come it's these messages? What about the other messages? Yes, Miss Denise. Okay, we sharing that sentiment, okay? But then again, she also decided to give this man a second chance. So she knew. And mind you, this is not the first baby he was accused of molesting. She knew that as well. And she continued to deal with him.
Messages is to be honest, these messages I seen into the inbox to you, I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon, I mean it. The next message is I don't know what to say, or to his own. Since this shit doesn't sit right with me. Call it what you want. I'm good, period. It says this for life. Nigga, I thought about it. And you can pass it.
I'm recording it,
And don't call me. No need to explain shit. I already see it.
Okay. So you were referencing some messages that you saw in Tada's inbox.
Correct.
Tell me, how did you see some messages? Well, first of all, where these messages, where were they at?
The day of Officer Gardner came to pick up Nazia's tablet. My mom asked me to put it on the charger. I put it on the charger. Officer Gardner, after that, Officer Gardner called and said she's on her way.
You're saying, without saying what?
Okay, I'm sorry.
So she's trying to say she didn't see these messages until the investigator got involved? What? So it didn't dawn on them when the baby went missing that maybe they should go through the baby's social media, tablets, any device that this baby was using. You mean to tell me it didn't dawn on you before the investigators got involved to look through this stuff to see what you could find? Oh yeah, I know that. I know that they'll keep the trophy. Yes. It don't make no sense. Y'all, I'm telling y'all that this don't make no sense. Why you wait until but if y'all said y'all were looking for her, how does it not dawn on you? This baby's a teenager, okay? Preteen, teenager, y'all know how they are with media devices. That's the first thing I would have did. Go to find out what's going on with her pages. Go to find out her messages. Who she been calling? Who was she in contact with? Okay.
Officer had called and said that they was on their way to come pick up the tablet.
Okay.
Okay. So
Sustain as far as hearsay.
yes, thank you. Okay, continue.
So before the tablet was picked up, I looked inside to this tablet. She has 2 passwords that I normally know. So one of them is referenced for her brother's birthday, and the other one is referenced from my password. So I put the first password in, it didn't work. So I put the second password in. So the first thing I went to was Instagram, which I was scrolling. And I seen Jarvis Butt's Instagram page. I clicked on his page and I seen 2 messages.
Okay, and what were the messages that you saw? Who were they between, first of all?
Naziah, my niece, and Jarvis.
Okay, and what were the messages that you seen?
It was roughly 2 messages that I have seen that I can recall. States.
I'm going to object to this as hearsay. They have not been admitted, and the messages themselves would be the evidence.
Were they of any? Were the messages of a sexual nature?
No.
Okay, and you said you saw 2 messages.
Yes.
Okay, did you see anything else?
It was 2 sent pictures, but you can't really make anything out. There wasn't nothing there, but it was a picture was sent.
Okay. What did seeing those messages, what did they cause you to do?
Well, when I see no messages, I called him.
Who's
and Jarvis Butt.
Okay.
Called him while he was at work, asked him, what is these messages I seen between you and my niece? And he said, what messages? Said it's 2 particular messages that states out and it's a picture. And he stated that, I don't know, these messages, I told him what the messages were. And he said that it was probably our children was messaging him. And I stated no, because I
Ooh. Oh, too many questions. Y'all, we still got so many questions. We got so many questions. Cause I'm telling you, like, she just seems oblivious. Why does she seem so oblivious? It's like out of sight, out of mind for her or something. As long as she didn't see it, she can't attest to it. What? I'm confused, y'all. Something is not right. I'm telling y'all, something is weird.
I know how our children will text.
Okay. And reading those messages, is that what caused you to text
Mr. Butts, yes.
Mr. Butts, in that you've seen the messages in the inbox and you don't really know what to believe anymore?
Correct.
Okay.
Did anybody say anything before about Naziah having a relationship with any of Jarvis's kids? Because these messages were between Naziah and Jarvis's Instagram. And my question is, had Naziah and his kids had a relationship before this time? Because I didn't hear nobody say anything about that. Why would she be talking to his kids? Shannon didn't even say anything about Naziah being with this man's children or having a relationship with this man's children. Why would she say, after he gave that ridiculous excuse, why would she say she don't know what to believe? Oh my gosh, y'all. I am so questioning this woman's discernment. It's off. Yeah, the defense kept her from saying what she saw in the messages because it would be considered hearsay. Because the prosecution didn't present the text messages as evidence. So she can't say, they won't allow her to say what it was. She covering up. No different than her mama. They doing the same shit. And I'm telling you, there's a reason.
One second.
Because I want y'all to keep in mind, we talking about a known sex offender here.
So, Sharon, I want to take you back to January 9th. Were you home that day?
Yes,
Okay. And did you see Neziah that day?
my senior did, that morning, correct.
Okay. And do you remember what she was wearing at all?
Her coat and her uniform at the time, she had on some blue jeans. I don't really recall the outfit. I just know the coat she had on.
And what was the coat that she had on?
She had on, it was a 90s coat with all the characters on it.
Okay. And you recall seeing her wearing that the morning of January 9th?
Correct.
And your Honor, may I approach people's already exhibit 2?
Yes.
And I'm going to show you people's exhibit 2. Can you tell me, do you recognize a coat in this photo?
Yes.
And whose coat do you recognize that to be?
Neziah's.
Okay. Now, after you when you saw Neziah that morning, what did you do the rest of the morning?
Nothing, I was at home with my mom and my 2 children.
And do you ever leave the house at any point that day?
No, I was at the house the whole entire day.
And do you know what time Neziah would normally get home from school?
On certain days, she will stay for after school, and then on certain days she will come home. The days she will stay for after school is 6, and the days that she don't is at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And on January 9th, do you know if Neziah had the after school program?
Yes. At that time, my mom took her out of the after school program, so she will come home directly at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And were you home at 3 o'clock?
Yes.
And did you see Neziah come home?
No.
Okay. And did you see her come home at all the rest of the night?
No.
Okay. Did you leave at any point after 3 o'clock?
No.
Okay. Did you,
Y'all heard that, right? Did y'all hear what she just said? No. Okay, we'll go back.
ever leave the house at any point that day?
No, I was at the house the whole entire day.
And do you know what time Neziah would normally get home from school?
On certain days, she will stay for after school, and then on certain days she will come home.
Okay, that's different. That's different than what the grandmother said. The grandmother said she had took Neziah out of after school. She said she took Neziah out of after school because Neziah and another schoolmate were having issues. But Shannon is saying that sometimes she would come home around 3 something, and then she on other days she would come home after school. Okay, this ain't adding up. Y'all, there's something wrong. Was she in after school or was she not? So would this be a plausible reason for either one of them to not be in a state of hysteria about this baby not being home at 3:05, by 3:05? I guess it would be. Because y'all not even on the same page with when she's supposed to be home. This don't make no sense. Yeah, you know they can go. Okay, we got some savvy techs out here. They know how to get into your device and get to things that you think you deleted. No, it's not automatically gone. You think it is, but it's not automatically gone. They have ways of getting into things.
The day she will stay for after school is 6. And the days that she don't, it's at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And on January 9th, do you know if Neziah had the after-school program?
Yes. At that time, my mom took her out of the after-school program. So she will come home directly at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And were you home at?
She done changed it up. Now she's saying the same thing that the mother said. Interesting. So let me ask you this. Never mind. Let me keep playing, y'all. Hold on.
Yes.
And did you see Neziah come home?
No.
Okay. And did you see her come home at all the rest of the night?
No.
Did you leave at any point after 3 o'clock?
No.
Okay. Did you, when Neziah didn't come home, did that cause you to experience or feel any type of way?
It did. When she didn't come home is when my mom went to go pick up the other 2 children from the after school program. They knocked on the door and they had.
Hold a minute. Hold on. Because something don't make sense. The prosecutor asked her that when Neziah didn't come home, did she have cause for concern? She's saying yes. But remember, the mom said, her mother said that around the time that Neziah was supposed to be home that day, she was out running errands. So when she got back from running errands, which would have been before she had to go pick the kids up from after school, the baby still wasn't home. Shannon didn't say anything about doing anything. She didn't say anything. All she did was tell her mother that Neziah wasn't home yet. I don't remember Shannon saying anything about what she did in between that time to find Neziah. She's talking about right now that after her mother came home from getting the babies. So this would have been between 4 and 6 o'clock in the evening. The baby was supposed to be home 4 hours before that. 4 hours before 6. Hold on, y'all. 3, 4, 5. My bad. 3, 4, 5. By 6 o'clock, okay? By 6 o'clock, she still went home. But what did Shannon do between the hours of 3 before the mother came back with the other kids? What did she do? If she was concerned, what did she do? Because she's getting ready to say she didn't do anything until her mother got home. That's what I'm hearing. I'm just asking.
Asked the question and said,
Objection. Sounds like you're saying.
Was it? You have a response or?
A question isn't hearsay technically.
I think she said.
She has a question.
I'm
Yes.
just getting ready to say a question. Okay,
What was the question?
The 2 children had asked me, Mom said, did
That's the hearsay.
Neziah come home?
The hearsay is mom said. Okay, so were you asked directly whether Neziah came home?
So my mom was still in the car. I was inside the house. They was coming to the house, walking up to the door. When I opened the door, they asked me, Mom said, did Naziah come home? I said, no.
Okay. And wasn't Desire home at all?
No.
Okay. And did you do any sort of looking for Desire that night?
Yes.
What did you do?
I called my twin sister. I called some of her friends that I know that stays close by. If they had seen Naziah, heard from Naziah and everything. And when I reached out to my sister, she said no. Her friend said no. So after that, I asked my mom, did she want to call police? She said no, she will take.
Why do I have to ask my mother if I should call the police and my niece is missing? Why am I asking my mother, especially as a grown woman, why am I asking my mother if I need to call the police? Y'all don't think something's wrong with this? I can't wait till this trial happen. Cause I just feel like we're gonna be, if you ain't already like this, you will be after this trial. I just have the feeling. No.
Take it up in the morning.
So she asked her mother if she should call the police. The mother said, no, she'll handle it in the morning. This is a woman who CPS has allowed to become a foster parent, to care and take responsibility for children. And when asked about what she should do, I don't know why, but when asked if she could get the cops involved, this lady says, no, I'll handle it the next morning. Where is the panic? Where is the stop the show, time to find out where my baby is? Where is the hell no? We need to find Naziah. Where is it? Oh my gosh, y'all. This shit.
Shannon, did you know Desire to have a pair of red and black Nike shoes?
Yes.
Okay. And if I showed you a picture of them, would you be able to identify them?
Yes.
Thank you for subscribing, Miss Sue. Thank you.
Brenda, may I approach? Yes. And for the record, this is going to be from People's Proposed Exhibit 14, and it'll be picture 34. Do you recognize these shoes?
Yes, that's a pair of shoes that my mom bought for to the birthday.
Okay, thank you. Now, back on the 9th, you said your mom was going to file a police report in the morning.
Correct.
Okay. Did you go with her to file a police report in the morning?
No, it was my older sister.
Okay. Did you do anything on the 10th as it relates to trying to find Isaiah?
Yes. We went out. I and some others went out to go get some pictures, made copies. We went to other stores, passed out flyers, and everything that we need to do. Now, what was asked of us to do.
Okay. And since January 9th, 2024, have you seen Isaiah?
No.
Have you, since January 9th, 2024, have you heard from Isaiah?
No.
Nothing further at this time, Judge. Judge.
She did what was asked of her to do. She went out on January 10th and did what was asked of her to do. They did everything but go after Jarvis's ass. They did everything but go to Jarvis's shop. Where was he living? So y'all have to keep in mind that we are talking about a convicted sex offender that had access to this baby, and none of the family members did anything. All Shannon did was send messages. Yes, and it could have been, like you said earlier, some need to be covered up. I absolutely believe that.
Ms. Harris, I also have some questions for you. You and Mr. Butts have been, or you've known him for about 12 years?
Correct.
And fair to say that you were in a dating relationship with him for most of that time?
Correct.
But towards the end, like last year, it was more off and on. Fair to say?
No, it was on and off for years.
For years, okay. But you have 5 children with him?
Correct.
And this relationship that you had with him, even towards the end when it was on, it was a sexual relationship, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you go to a motel to have sex with him?
Correct. Yes.
And that motel was the Park Crest Inn?
Or the SharePoint.
There's more than one?
Multiples, yes.
Okay. But one of them was the Park Crest? Said yes?
Correct.
And it's in Harper Woods?
Correct.
On Harper?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know if Mr. Butts, or do you suspect that Mr. Butts has taken other women to those motels also?
Correct.
You do? I believe you said that you have, of your 5 children with him, 2 are girls?
Yes.
And 3 are boys?
Correct.
And in January of this time, well, January 2023, you were living with your mother on Bedford, correct?
Correct.
Prior to that, were you living in Clinton Township?
Correct.
When did you leave the Clinton Township home and move to the Bedford home?
October 23.
And so there were times when you were in Clinton Township that Mr. Butts would travel out there to see the kids?
Correct.
And then when he moved to the Bedford address, he would go to the Bedford address to see the kids.
Correct.
And then the
Okay, hold on. So we talking about 2023, October of 2023. She began living with her mother. Prior to October 2023, she was in this other place. Please keep that in mind, because the messages between this baby and Jarvis Butt about her being pregnant, possibly being pregnant, happened in December of 2023. Please keep this in mind, because the other family members had already started putting CPS cases on him. And even in the article that I read, they followed up on one of the allegations in June of 2022. He was with her during this time, because one of the family members got the information from her, from Shannon. Let me say allegedly. I don't want no problems, but I'm putting this shit together, okay? I suspect he been messing with this baby for years. And Shannon did nothing about it. How do you explain her moving into her mother's house in October of 2023, and 2 months later, this baby is texting this man about being pregnant? Something's not right, y'all. Oh my gosh, something's not right.
Bedford address is when Neziah was also living there, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you just testified that on January the 9th, you were living at that house in
Correct.
Bedford, and you were there during the day.
Correct.
And so were you one of the first people that realized that Neziah did not come home when she was expected to be home?
Well, I didn't realize it until I had got a question by the other kids had asked, did I have Neziah came home yet, or have I seen her? And I said no.
So now she's saying she didn't realize the baby hadn't come home until the babies, the other kids came and asked her if Neziah was home. But she said she was home all day. She also said that the baby was no longer in after school. She said she knew what time the baby was supposed to be home if she wasn't in after school. So you mean to tell me you didn't think anything of it, that she wasn't walking through the door at 3 something? Cause you just told them that you didn't know until they asked you if she was home. She's lying, y'all. She's straight up lying. She can't keep her story together. I mean, I'm keeping track of what she's saying, and she can't keep her story together. Her story is off. She protecting something, and it could be just her grandmother. It could be her I mean,
That
her
was in the
mother.
evening. My mom picked them up 6 o'clock.
So that was about 3 hours later than she normally should have been home.
Correct.
Was that surprising?
Yes, it was. One, we thought that she was at the after school program. But it didn't dawn on no one until my mom came back to the house and she wasn't here or she wasn't in the car when they had got in the car.
Wait a minute. How did they think that she was in the after school program? She just told them that her mother took her out. Why would they think she was there? She's saying it didn't dawn on them or dawn on her because she thought that the baby went to after school. Why would she go to after school if the grandmother said she took her out? You also said that the grandmother took her out. Why would you think that's where she was if she knew to come home? We thought she was in the after school program. This is the plausible reason she's given for not following up with where this baby was when she was supposed to be home at 3. They decided not to do anything. She decided not to do anything because she thought the baby was in the after school. But the grandmother took her out. Oh.
And so when you all realized that she wasn't at school and she wasn't at home, was that surprising?
Yes.
But you didn't go to the police that night.
No.
She ever not returned home previously?
No, this is her first time ever doing this.
Did she have friends in the neighborhood that she would go visit?
Yes.
And you said, are those the folks that you contacted to ask?
So if this was her first time ever doing this, don't you think that's even more of a reason to raise the alarm? What? Y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all, it is some other shit going on here. I'm telling you. Because how is the grandmother going to explain this baby being pregnant? How is she going to explain that? Remember, the grandmother said she took care of the baby's medical needs. She would take the baby to the hospital as required. Did the grandmother know that the baby was pregnant? And if so, how is she going to explain that the baby was pregnant? Y'all,
it's
You were just shown a pair of red and black Nike shoes, right?
correct.
And you identified those shoes as being Nazia's shoe. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's a shoe that looks like the shoe that Nazia is wearing, correct?
Correct. Correct.
You can't say for sure that that exact
Yes,
shoe came from Nazia, is that fair to say?
Correct.
I think you testified that very rarely would you ever use text now to contact Mr. Butts.
Right.
Only if your phone was turned off.
Right.
And that was not very often.
Right.
Would Nazia ever have access to your phone to use it?
Yes, like she would ask, hey, TT, can I see your phone? Sure, I wouldn't mind, yes.
And so would she text from that phone?
Probably, yes.
Did you ever notice any text from
No,
her on your phone?
no.
Did you ever notice if she had used your Text Now app?
No, the only time when I would notice something and say if me and Jarvis would we won't be on the same page seeing eye to eye, and I will call him and say why you will call me, or like why you continue to keep calling me, and I would say I haven't called you all day or in 2 days, and I will go ask my kids like, hey, are y'all calling your dad because I haven't called him.
Okay.
I agree, Miss Denise. But remember what I told you, I believe this grandmother is protecting her interest. I don't believe she gave a damn about this baby. I really don't. And I think it's got a lot to do with the relationship between her and her oldest daughter. And you know what, Miss Denise, I believe that was to lure her in so that he could initiate his plan, his real plan. He had to tell her something. Y'all, I just have so many questions, so many questions. Forget about him for a minute. I'm trying to figure out how much this grandmother and Shannon really knew about the situation, because I'm not convinced that they're clear, that like they don't know more than what they're saying. I am not convinced. Is that true, Carla? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then Shannon just said that she would allow Naziah to use her phone, but she didn't think to look through any of her messages. But she knew the baby was using her phone. And she's saying the only time that she knew the baby was sending messages is when she would go to use her phone to call Jarvis, and he'd say, why you keep calling me? And then that's when she would know the baby was using her phone to get in contact. Or she would ask her kids if they was using her phone. So you didn't ask Naziah, because she said her kids. She didn't say nothing about Naziah, y'all. She said her kids. She asked her kids.
And so would she text from that phone?
Probably, yes.
Did you ever notice any text from
No,
her on your phone?
no.
Did you ever notice if she had used your Text Now app?
No, the only time when I would notice something and say if me and Jarvis would we won't be on the same page seeing eye to eye, and I will call him and he say why you will call me, or like why you continue to keep calling me, and I would say I haven't called you all day or in 2 days, and I will go ask my kids like, hey, are y'all calling your dad because I haven't called him.
Did she ask her about the messages, or did she ask her about calls? or did she say contact? Do I need to take it back, or did y'all hear that? Because I'm confused. Did the defense ask Shannon if the baby would call him, message him, or contact him? Because I don't believe she answered the question. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I don't think she answered the question. I don't think she answered the question.
To the house, and she wasn't here, or she wasn't in the car when they had got in the car.
And so when you all realized that she wasn't at school and she wasn't at home, was that surprising?
Yes.
But you didn't go to the woods that night?
No.
She ever not returned home previously?
No, this is her first time ever doing this.
Did she have friends in the neighborhood that she would go visit?
Yes.
And you said, are those the folks that you contacted to ask?
Yes.
You were just shown a pair of red and black Nike shoes, right?
Correct.
And you identified those shoes as being Nazia's shoe. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's a shoe that looks like the shoe that Nazia is wearing, correct?
Correct. Correct.
I think for sure that that exact
Yes, her
shoe came from Nazia. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
I think you testified that very rarely would you ever use text now to contact Mr. Butts.
Right.
Only if your phone was turned off.
Right.
And that was not very often.
Right.
Would Nazia ever have access to your phone to use it?
Yes, like she would ask, hey, TT, can I see your phone? Sure, I wouldn't mind, yes.
And so would she text from that phone?
Probably, yes.
Did you ever notice any text from
No.
her on your phone?
No.
See, she asked her about the text. Did you ever notice text from her phone? Shannon says no. She says no.
Did you ever notice if she had used your Text Now app?
No, the only time when
you heard that? The defense said, did you even know that she used the Text Now app? So she's talking about the messages. That's what the defense asked about, the messages. She asked about the Text Now app. Now listen to Shannon, because she didn't answer the question.
I would notice something and say if me and Jarvis would, we won't be on the same page seeing eye to eye, and I would call him and he said, why you will call me, or like, why you continue to keep calling me? And I would say, I haven't called you all day or in 2 days. And I would go ask my kids like, hey, are y'all calling your dad? Because I haven't called him.
Okay.
See? You see what I mean? That wasn't the question. Yeah, the judge knows. Okay, let me tell you something, Ms. Denise. This judge knows. I bet you she even knows that Shannon didn't answer the question that was asked. She talking about calls. The defense didn't ask her about calls. They asked her about the Text Now app, which is the messages. Y'all, okay, I'm on it.
And until you looked in Nazia's Instagram account, did you ever notice anything on your phone that caused you to be concerned?
No.
Between Nazia and Mr. Butts?
No.
And Mr. Butts, we said would come to the house to see his kids.
Correct.
He would drop them off at the house sometimes. He would take them places.
Yes.
He would pick Janaya up from there?
Like he, depending on like if he will pick up the kids, if I need him to pick up the kids from the pickup or drop off spot, for school, he will do that, yeah.
And then take them either to Clinton Township when you live there, or to the Bedford Street address?
Correct.
Okay. But most times he wouldn't even come to the house, right?
He will come to the house, he will call me first before he will come.
Would he come into the house physically, or would he sit in his truck outside?
50%. He will sit in the car and wait till the kids come outside, or he will knock on the door.
That's a lie. Y'all know that's a lie, right? She doing everything but telling them that Jarvis came in the house. She's lying, y'all. I'm telling y'all, she's lying and she covering up. She got security guards up for some reason, saying that he will call before he come, and he would stay outside in his truck. It's like a 50%. He stay outside in the truck, and the other times he come knock on the door. And you telling me he didn't go inside? Okay.
Would he be in the house for any length of time?
Only if I'm inside the house.
Like he was visiting with you?
Yes.
Okay. So you never knew a time that Mr. Butts would have been alone in the house with Nasiah?
No.
You can't think of a time when he would have been in the house and had gone down to the basement with her?
No.
Or any other room in the house alone?
No.
I don't believe that, y'all. At all. I do not believe that. She's saying no, but I do not believe that at all. Because didn't something happen in the basement? I don't believe this.
Would Mr. Butts have ever been at that house if another adult, like you or your mother, weren't there?
He will, what you said.
Would Mr. Butts ever be at the house if you or your mother weren't there?
No, it will be me or another person.
Who is the other person? Because the only people I've heard so far that be in that house is her and her mother. So who would be the other person? I want to know who this other person is. Who this other person is. She lying, y'all. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. She lying. Yes, Miss Denise.
The idea that anything was going on between Mr. Butts and Nasiah is shocking to you, right?
Correct.
You had no idea.
No.
You never noticed anything between Nasiah and Mr. Butts that made you concerned?
No.
You never saw any inappropriate behavior?
Not at all.
Well, wait a minute. I would have more questions about that, because who are the other family members talking about when they say that there was a niece that would told them about certain things? Who y'all think she's talking about? Do I need to go back over this article again? Who y'all think who y'all think they talking about? Who was Butt's girlfriend at that time? The only reason why we can't positively identify that it's Shannon is because they didn't mention the name of Butt's girlfriend. They just said Butt's girlfriend. Oh my gosh.
You didn't notice Mr. Butts paying any special attention to her?
No.
Certainly, if you had noticed that, that would have caused you concern.
Yeah, it would have raised a whole bunch of red flags.
Likely, you wouldn't have invited him into the house, correct?
Correct.
You found it hard to believe even that Mr. Butts would hurt Nasiah.
but I won't know. I don't know what he will do if a person's back is up against the wall.
But the thought of that was hard for you, at least at one point, to believe, correct?
Correct.
How though? How was it hard for her to believe? Are y'all listening to this mess? She's saying that it would be hard for her to believe that he would do this. Why? Lord? Why would it be hard for you to believe this? He's already done it. What? And this includes in between the time that y'all been having kids. This has been happening. Even one of his other baby mamas attested to him doing this. What you mean you can't believe? Is this woman, something ain't right up here, y'all. Something's not right up here. Oh my God. This lady done gave me a headache. She done gave me a headache between her and her mother. Oh my gosh, Miss Denise. Oh my gosh, Carla. Oh, y'all, I'm telling you.
Now, during the time that you and Mr. Butts were together, he had children with other women.
Correct.
Pretty consistently with other women.
Correct.
More than one woman.
Correct.
Some of those women you actually knew about, correct?
Correct.
They lived kind of even in the same neighborhood on the east side.
Correct.
But you suspect that there were women that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Even one that lived, or more than one that lived over on the west side?
Correct.
You believe he was going out there to see somebody around the end of 2023, January 2024?
Correct.
Before January the 9th, you had a conversation with Naziah about location on Outer Drive in Belfort?
Yes.
And that was surprising to you, right?
Correct.
That's on the east side of Detroit?
Yes.
Did you end up giving her directions on how to get to that location?
Yes.
Why did you give her directions?
I was just getting out the shower and just getting myself together. She asked me, she said, "Hey, Titi," she said, "where is Belfort and Outer Drive?" And I told her, I said, "You know exactly where Belfort and Outer Drive at." I said, "Outer Drive is right where the wine basket at." And I said, "You know where Belfort at?" And she was like, "I get Balfour and Bedford mixed up." So I said, "You already know Belfort is before Bedford." So she said, "Okay." She said, "Because we are in school and we are learning about our surroundings." So I said, "Okay." But that was the only two things that she had asked, was where was Outer Drive and Balfour at.
Does that location have any special significance to you?
No.
Do you know anybody at that location?
No, the only thing that I'm used to, I'm familiarized with just picking up Jarvis, Outer Drive and Belfort. It's just on the corner.
Are y'all hearing this? Are y'all hearing this? The baby asked about this location. This Belfort and Auto Drive or whatever is this, wherever this is. The baby's asking where this is to Shannon. It did not dawn on Shannon. Why would she be asking about this location? Shannon just said this location is familiar because this is where I will pick up Jarvis. What? Why is the baby asking you about this location? If you know this is where you pick up Jarvis, and you just said you could not believe Jarvis would do anything like this. But the baby gave you a clue when she asked you this question. Why would she be asking you about this very location where you pick his ass up? And you didn't think nothing of it? Y'all, I can't even talk. I couldn't be in the same room with this woman or her fucking mother, okay? I couldn't be in the room with neither one of them. Denise, you feel like I do. you feel like I do. Like, what in the hell? What in the hell? If I know I pick up my significant other from this location that this baby's asking me about, this very location, the first thing that will come to my mind is, what you doing? Why you want to know where that is? And then I'll be getting on his case, like, or you know what? I wouldn't even get on his case. I wouldn't even get on. This would make me go in the private investigation mode for real. Because sometimes when you alert to something, you know, you can cause somebody not to do what they intended to do. But this shit right here, the fact that it didn't raise alarms about this very thing is I cannot believe it. When she just admitted that this is where she would pick Jarvis up at. And the baby knows where this location is now. This particular location. This particular location. I can't, y'all.
On a corner?
Mm-hmm.
Not at an address?
Not on the address.
When was this conversation that you had about that location? Do you recall?
This was right before Nasiah went missing.
Like how soon before? Weeks?
Maybe it was still like in that same week she went missing.
Mr. Butts didn't have a vehicle, fair to say?
No, he didn't.
He generally used
his female vehicles.
What about the Cadillac Escalade? I thought that was a car. Because so far, I only heard about 3 cars being used. The Cadillac Escalade, the Chevy Suburban, and the lady with the blue car. I only heard about 3 cars. If y'all remember, his co-worker said that the Cadillac Escalade was his car. You mean to tell me none of these cars was his? I thought the Cadillac Escalade was his car. The Chevy Suburban belonged to the fiance. The truck that he left his phone in, remember? The blue car belonged to one of the other baby mamas, where he left the glasses at. I'm trying to tell you, Miss Wanda, because you can, what?
Did you know Mr. Butts to park at one location and maybe walk to another to kind of try to remain undetected?
Pretty much, yes.
So would it be not out of the ordinary for you to have to pick him up at a random or what seemed to be a random location to you?
Correct.
You lived with Nasiah for, you said, from about October until January the 9th.
Correct.
So you spent a lot of time around her?
Yes.
You knew her mannerisms?
Yes.
Her demeanor?
Yes.
Her moods?
Yes.
Did anything strike you as out of the ordinary about how she was acting at any point in time in December or January before she disappeared?
No, Nasiah, nothing have changed. Her character, none of that. She was just the same old Nasiah Nothing is different.
Isaiah is a brother, right?
Yes,
Is it an older brother?
yes,
No, he had run away in 2023, is that right?
yes.
That's irrelevant.
How was it relevant? If it's something that had bothered her or something that she was dealing with at the time, could cause a change in her demeanor.
Overall.
So she did have a brother that ran away,
Correct.
and was that something that she struggled with?
She didn't like the fact that her brother was running away. Yes, she didn't like it.
Wait a minute. So why did it take the defense bringing that up for you to mention that when she just asked you if you noticed anything different? She just asked you that question. You said there was nothing that you knew about. She was the same old Naziah. So it took for the defense to bring that up about her brother for you to say, yeah, that did what? Mr. Needs, you got me. You got me laughing. Yeah, it's nothing funny about this. Trust me, it's nothing funny, but I'm telling you, I don't understand how you cannot just be what? Like what? I'm telling you, like, no. They're covering up some shit. I'm telling you.
Around the same time, around the time December, January, was her mother supposed to come visit, her biological mother?
Yes.
Did she end up coming to see Naziah?
Yes.
She did. Did Naziah seem to have some big emotions about that contact?
Yes.
Is it complicated, fair to say?
Yes.
Did she talk to you about that?
All the time.
Did you notice anything? You said you didn't notice anything in a change in mood. So
No.
what about physically?
No.
I don't have anything else, thank you. Can you redirect?
Yes. Did you go to the Park Crest Inn on January 9th, 2024? Mr.
No.
Fox?
No.
And fair to say, you knew of Mr. Butts having other female friends.
Yes.
Okay. And even some that you didn't know about.
Correct.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that you don't always know, or you didn't always know what Mr. Butts was doing?
No.
You couldn't account for his whereabouts every minute of the day?
No.
Did you know him to, one of those cars that he would use, did you know him to have a white Escalade type truck?
Correct. Yes.
And you were asked some questions about Outer Drive and Balfour. Fair to say, from what I gathered, the only connection you have to that area is Jarvis Butt's.
Correct.
Okay, so he's the only one you would associate with that area.
Correct.
Now listen to that. Did y'all just hear that? Did y'all just hear the prosecution ask her, was Jarvis Butt the only one you knew that would be in that area? Okay, we're talking about the area that the baby asked her about. And she said this was days before. Like in the same week that the baby went missing. I would have been in tears. You hear me? I would have been, you wouldn't have been able to hold me up. My stomach would have been hurting out of you. I wouldn't be able to. You might have to put me in the hospital. knowing that that baby gave me a clue. She gave me a clue. And I didn't do what I was supposed to do with it. I'm telling y'all, I wouldn't be able to sleep. You getting no emotional reaction from this woman about anything. Nothing. She just there. Oh my gosh, y'all.
And you knew Mr. Butts to have other children?
Correct.
Okay, and you knew him to have clearly gotten other women pregnant?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, were all those women adults?
To my knowledge, yes.
Did he to you, ever hide getting another woman pregnant?
No.
Nothing further, Judge.
Okay, you are done testifying. Please watch your step.
Yo, this was a hot ass mess. Yeah, Miss Denise, I appreciate it because I'm telling you, I just because sometimes laughter does help you to not just go over the edge because I am so frustrated with the way this baby situation was handled. So many times they had to get this man out of the picture. So many times they had to pick up on the signs this baby was giving them that I don't understand how you as a mother was not picking up on. And let's not forget that this man has been accused of molesting his own daughter. If he can do this to his own daughter, he's not capable of doing this to your niece. When's the trial? Is it March 7th? I will be watching. I will be watching. Because he was able to manipulate all these women. Use every last one of these women's vehicles, except her, because I don't think she got one. But definitely use these other women's vehicles for his mess. Like, I hope they have footage of the hotel. Because if they have it, I haven't seen it yet. So I really hope they have footage of the hotel. I hope they have something. I really wish they had something showing him leaving the shop with this baby. That's what I'm saying. Like, his coworker noticed that he didn't come to work the next day. all. And at this point, this baby was missing. Grandmother decided not to do anything until the next day. Y'all, I'm just ready. Okay. I'm ready. I am ready for this trial. I'm going to be watching this trial. I don't know if I'll be able to stream it, but if I can, I definitely will, because I want to see what other evidence, because it's very possible they got other evidence that we haven't seen yet, of course. But I so can't wait to this trial, because this right here, and like I said, if Shannon got her kids taken away, and no, I don't want parents to be detached from their kids or taken away from their kids. But it's situations where the children can be with other family members, or the children be with foster parents, and they will allow the children to have, contact with the rightful mother, even if it's like monitored. They have situations like that happen too, but absolutely not should these kids be in her care by herself, or even with this mother of hers. And this grandmother definitely should get her foster care permit taken away. She shouldn't be allowed to have no kids either, because she didn't do what she was supposed to do. And they both knowingly did not check this man's shop. The grandmother claimed she didn't know where the new shop was, but Shannon knew. The grandmother didn't know where the new shop was, but she was still allowing that baby to go to that shop. What? Y'all, he gonna get justice. Don't even worry about it. And I really can't wait to see. And I just can't with these. I can't with these family members. I really can't. I can't. Thank y'all for sticking with me through this. I tried to do as much as I can, but y'all know pretty much where I stand with this case. I think they all guilty. I think they all guilty of something. Definitely of this baby being missing, but them, no. So we gonna see y'all. Let me get up off of here. I gotta go eat, y'all. I gotta go eat. Thank y'all for staying with me. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. And thank you to subscribers. I appreciate y'all. But we're not done with this case. And we're definitely not done with CPS. Okay? Yeah, Miss Wanda, because you know they always coming out with a movie about these things. It's just tragic that somebody has to lose their life for this type of stuff. Oftentimes, Miss Denise, I've heard that pedophiles had to go through the same type of stuff when they were kids, where somebody caused that trauma onto them, and they continued to do it. And when you don't get healed, you don't heal from it, and you constantly getting away with it, why would you stop? There needs to be a different punishment. I think there needs to be a different punishment. That's what I think. Because the punishment that they're using right now for these people, it's not working because we still losing children. We still losing them. And we definitely need to have the parents being held responsible for this because they're accountable to the children, period. And I don't care if they are foster parents. The foster parents put themselves in that position when they took on the responsibility of the children. Period. And they were allowing this man around these children, knowing he was a sex offender, and was allowing these kids around a sex offender without supervision. You can't explain that to me and make me, no, you can't sway me with that. No. Multiple kids, Miss Lovely, multiple kids. And they definitely need to be doing an overview of CPS and the way they investigate these cases. How the hell do you explain 5 different situations where allegations of abuse were alleged and none of them were substantiated, yet they were all about one person that just so happened to already have been convicted of the same type of offenses? You're not gonna make that make sense to me. I'm sorry. CPS needs to be investigated as well. We need to find out who the hell they working for and what their policies are, because some shit ain't right. And they need to start talking to the public. They're trying to keep everything secret. We understand y'all dealing with juveniles. We know that. We paying y'all to do that, but y'all not doing y'all job. Period. Woo! All right, y'all. Let me get up off of here because y'all know I'm let me get up off of here so I can eat. Thank y'all for sticking with me. Have a good night. I appreciate y'all, all right? Woo, y'all. Let me get, I can't.